Good morning. This is Father Stephen Kelly from St. John's Church in Detroit. We're continuing our series of daily morning meditations where we generally look at one or another of the lessons that are assigned for morning or evening prayer, what is known as the daily office lectionary. And I thought today we would take a look at the lesson that is appointed for morning prayer from the book Exodus. Remember, the book Exodus picks up after Genesis, right, the first book. Exodus is that time period where the people of the Jews have been freed from slavery and are now making their way across the what is now known as the Sinai Peninsula in order for them to be residents of the Promised Land. Of course, we know that they would be wandering for a very long time. So Moses is, of course, their leader. He was helped through God's inspiration and God's leadership to free them from slavery. And so we're up to the point now, remember, Moses went up to the mountain and he had the tables of stone and he came down only to find the people of Israel have made a molten image of a calf and they're worshiping that calf. And so Moses drops the stones, the tablets with the testimony from God, and that's it. He's had nothing to do with it, right? And so now he's gone. They've built a tabernacle, which is a tent where they go to worship God. And Moses has been called from speaking with God face to face to actually going back up to Mount Sinai. He's told to bring up 2 tablets of stone. And so we pick up at chapter 34, and having said that, verse number 1, we hear about once again the giving of the testimony. What we know is the 10 Commandments. Chapter 34. And the Lord said unto Moses, hew these 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first table, which thou breakest. And be ready in the morning, and come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks nor herds feed before the mount. And he hewed the 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and Moses rose up early in the morning, and went up into the Mount Sinai as the Lord had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tables of stone. And the Lord descended in the cloud, and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of the Lord. And the Lord passed by before him, and proclaimed, the Lord God, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, forgiving iniquity and the transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, and upon the children's children unto the 3rd and 4th generation. And Moses made haste and bowed his head towards the earth and worshipped. And he said, If now I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, let my Lord, I pray thee, go among us. For it is a stiff-necked people, and pardon our iniquity and our sin, and take us for thine inheritance. And he said, Behold, I make a covenant. Before all thy people I will do marvels such as have not been done in all the earth, nor in any nation. And all the people among which thou art shall see the work of the Lord, for it is a terrible thing that I will do with thee. And it came to pass, when Moses came down from Mount Sinai with the 2 tables of the testimony in Moses' hand, when he came down from the mount, that Moses wist not that his skin of his face shone while he talked with him. And when Aaron and the children of Israel saw Moses, behold, the skin of his face shone, and they were afraid to come nigh him. And Moses called unto them, and Aaron and all the rulers of the congregation returned unto him, and Moses talked with them. And afterwards all the children of Israel came nigh, and he gave them in commandment all that the Lord had spoken with him in Mount Sinai. And till Moses had done speaking with them, he put a veil on his face. But when Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out. And he came out and spake unto the children of Israel that which he was commanded. And the children of Israel saw the face of Moses, that his skin of Moses' face shone, and Moses put the veil upon his face again until he went in to speak with him. So here God, as he introduces himself, as he appears to Moses, he says that he will pass the judgment and the vengeance. And what does Moses do? He intercedes for the people. He worships and he asks God. He says, look, I pray thee go among us, for we're a stiff-necked people. In other words, we're an unrepentant people. And pardon our iniquity, right? And our sin. And take us for thine inheritance. So even with the unfaithfulness of the people, the Jews, in this molten image, Moses is interceding for the people and begging God for mercy and for forgiveness. And God not only allows it, but he offers that he will continue to be their God in this covenant. And as a sign, of course, being in the presence of God himself, Moses' face reflects the glory of God. He sees the glory of God face to face, and that glory is now reflecting in Moses' face. So much so that the people can't even look at Moses because he's shining so bright. And of course, we see a bit of that in the story of the Transfiguration, where the glory of God is sort of leaking out of Jesus, right? It is actually shining, radiant because of his divine nature, along, of course, with his human nature. So anyway, so again, Moses is once again leading the people of Israel, and we'll have lots more stories in the coming days of this miraculous time of God's being with them, as well as Israel's time of both faithfulness and occasional unfaithfulness. Today's Saturday. Remember, we worship together tomorrow at St. John's. I hope you've invited a friend or a family member to join you, and of course that you are planning on being with us to worship the living God. And I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. May God bless you.